Today we're going to play the most broken decks of all time in Clash Royale. For our first of the most broken decks in all of Clash Royale history, guys, we have 3 Musketeers with the Pump and Night Witch. This deck was really broken in 2017, right when Night Witch came out, guys, because as everyone probably knows by now, Night Witch was one of the strongest cards in the game on release. It just spawned so many more bats. It had, you know, quicker attack speed, more damage. Basically every single stat, I believe, was just so much better about the Night Witch on release. And the 3 Musketeers were also really good back in the day, guys. There were just like way fewer people playing good big spells against them, because some people had stuff like Rocket and things like that, but that's a lot worse against 3 Musketeers compared to what people play nowadays, like, you know, the poisons. Yeah, just like this guy has right here. Unfortunately, I think this guy does have Graveyard, so I mean, just like Graveyard with like the typical Splash Yard, which is going to be a bit of a hard matchup. Yeah, just the typical Splash Yard deck. Unfortunately, guys, we are not off to the best start right now, but we do have our Pump going, which could help us out to maybe get some sort of breakthrough. The thing about this deck, guys, is that back in the day, the Pump also used to be much better. It used to always just generate more Elixir. Like, even when people would go for their spells onto it, it would usually always get better Elixir trades than it currently gets right now. So, yeah, it was like really just a force to be reckoned with. Unfortunately, this guy might kill my Pump here with the Graveyard. I sure hope not, though. Hopefully our Night Witch is able to do a decent job. Bandit is going to snipe this Goblin Doctor here before he can get his ability, which is actually pretty clutch for us. Wait, guys, this looks pretty good for us right now. We're getting so many Night Witch bats on the board. Yo, how many Night Witch bats can we get, guys? Let's just go for another Night Witch at the bridge. He's going to have to just poison, I guess. Wait, he's going to take so much damage here. Guys, Night Witch is back in its prime in 2017, it feels like. Bro, what? We're just going to take his whole tower. Night Witch feels like it's back in its prime right now. Wait, no way, Ice Golem's going to take the tower. Guys, Ice Golem actually recently got a 10% HP buff. A lot of cards in this deck got nerfed over time, but Ice Golem actually got a nice 10% HP buff recently. So, I guess Ice Golem is actually back. Wait, he's probably going to take my tower here, I'm not going to lie. Dude, I don't think I can defend this, guys. Wait, maybe Evo Zap is our only choice here. Okay, I think Evo Zap could maybe save our tower with a few HP. Okay, I don't know if we're going to be able to save our tower, though, guys. This might be a 2-tower game. We're going to get an Ice Golem in the pocket, which does block the cannon right there. Beautiful. This deck is just really good for double lane pressure, guys. It was just like so broken back in 2017. You could literally just play cards however you wanted, and you would basically guaranteed get value. Like, you could literally just like bridge the Night Witch, and it would take half the tower, even if they played like a whole Ice Wizard or Archer or Archers or anything like that onto it. You would still take most of the tower down. No, no, no! Oh, thank goodness that didn't reach the tower. Okay, guys, I think we should be able to defend this one. Yeah, I think we take it, man. Against one of the most broken decks in the game, we still take an easy win. This deck right here is a little bit more of a recent broken deck, guys. We're playing Minor Magic Archer with the Goblinstein. The real star of this deck, guys, was definitely the Goblinstein. It was a very broken deck, I believe, just a few months ago, maybe like half a year ago or something like that. Just the fact that Goblinstein had so much more HP than it currently has. Magic Archer was just so broken. You know, Cannon was even better than it currently is. Skeletons were better with the evolution, because the evolution was better at that time. There were just so many good things going for this deck at that time, guys, and, you know, even Tornado was better as well. Just literally everything you can think of was better. We get a very nice Magic Archer here, guys. Look at that damage, man. Magic Archer is so broken to this day, I swear. Wow, we just got away with that. Yo! Okay, wait, we just have to NATO here, and I think we got away with that. I don't know how those skeletons got so much RNG damage, but overall, we're up quite a bit of damage right now, guys. The reason why this deck was so broken back in the day is because the Goblinstein, yeah, had so much more HP. You would literally just, like, spam it at the bridge every time you had it, and no matter what your opponent was playing, you would get a positive trade out of it. I'm not even joking. Like, you would play it into Hunters, you'd play it into Pekkas, literally anything you can think of. Alright, buddy, quit trying to be slick, buddy. Alright, I see this guy trying to be slick with his bar barrel. The thing about Magic Archer, guys, is that it's such an obvious card, but I feel like sometimes it's actually good to play it in an obvious way, because sometimes it could be so obvious that it's not obvious, because it's such an obvious play your opponent would think you're smarter than that, but in reality, you're not smarter than that. Alright, he's getting quite a bit of graveyard damage here, unfortunately, and the Goblin Doctor also got quite a bit of damage there. That was kind of just all because of the, aggressive Magic Archer that he predicted right there. That's why I took so much damage, but hopefully our Miner could get a little bit of damage back, because I feel like that poison out of him was kind of bad. We could also get our Magic Archer down. Oh, he tried to predict it. I knew he would predict it. That's the really broken thing about Magic Archer, guys, is that Magic Archer is a card that if you don't predict it, you just take so much damage, but also sometimes when you're playing Magic Archer, you can just not go for it, but your opponent just having the fear of it makes them constantly waste Elixir on trying to predict it, which then puts you just in such a good spot, I feel like. Okay, we're going to get our Evo Cannon down. Nice, beautiful Evo Cannon. We're going to also Magic Archer kind of behind our King Tower so we can't poison it very early. Bro, excuse me? You really just poisoned the air like that? You know, this guy has one of the lowest skill decks of all time, I will say that. I don't even care who disagrees, man, I'm calling it. This Graveyard deck is one of the lowest skill decks ever. Okay, guys, our Magic Archer! I mean, Magic Archer might be the only thing to compete in low skillness with the deck that he's playing. And guys, how this deck works is that a lot of the time you just go for like Miners and Goblin Steins and stuff like that, not even hoping for a connection with your actual Miner or Goblin Stein, but more so just to make your opponent play stuff, which you can then get a Magic Archer lineup onto. That's oftentimes how it works. Yo, look at this Magic Archer, man. Look at this Magic Archer. He literally can't do anything. That is hilarious, and people call this deck high skill. By the way, guys, at the end of today's video, I'm probably going to mention which deck I think was overall the most broken deck in Clash Royale history. You know, this deck could honestly be a very strong contender, guys. We're now playing Royal Hog's Earthquake with the Goblin Cage. In 2021, right when Archer Queen was released, guys, this deck was absolutely nasty, man. It was incredibly broken. Essentially, the Archer Queen, the ability would last much longer. It would do so much more damage while it was in its ability. And if your Archer Queen died, you would literally just get it in hand right as it died. Basically, you'd be like 1 card away instead of being like 3 cards away as you currently are when your champion dies. And not to mention the fact that back in the day, when you played your Archer Queen ability, it would just, I don't even know how to explain it, but like it just wouldn't get pulled by Tornado. Like if you Tornadoed an Archer Queen while it was in the ability, it would not get pulled back, basically. And also, I don't even think it could get damaged by stuff like Valkyrie or Mega Knight. It couldn't get damaged by like any sort of splash damage back in the day either, which was absolutely insane. I guess I'll just go in for the split piggies right here because this guy does probably have Sparky, so we're gonna have to get a bit of double lane pressure going right here. We do get 1 or 2 piggy nibbles on the tower, not too bad. We're just gonna go for our delivery right here. Man, guys, at one point in time, delivery was really broken too. I believe when this deck was in its prime, delivery was not in its prime itself. But the delivery at one point used to do more damage, and it used to do knockback as well. The delivery used to be able to just, like, reset Inferno Dragons, I believe, and stuff like that. It was kind of crazy, actually, how good delivery was at one point. But I think Supercell just does not like defensive metas very much, so they probably were not a big fan of that. This guy does get his Goblin Giant down. Evo Ice Spirit does get a nice connection on the Sparky, but unfortunately, guys, I think our Queen is dead right here. Yeah, it does die, unfortunately. But I feel like our Cage is going to be really good here. When this deck was in its prime, the Cage also had a little bit more HP, I believe, so that really helped the defense as well. But hey, honestly, we're not looking too bad right now. Oh, and also, guys, another thing is that Earthquake used to do, like, way more tower damage than it currently does. I don't know exactly what the numbers were, but now it does, like, 200 something, and back in the day, it used to do well over 300 damage, even at level 14, which was the level cap back then. Alright, this guy does go in for this Sparky, guys, but we're just going to get our Queen ability here, then this delivery should do a really good job as well. The delivery is really good against the Sparky. One of the best spells against Sparky besides, like, the, you know, Rocket itself. Wait, can we distract that Sparky shot? No, no, no! Oh, nice, our Brawler survived, thank goodness. We have 2 Goblin Brawlers going, guys. Yo, look at this right now. That is so nice. We're just going to go for our Evo Cage right here, then that should just suck in the mini Pekka. And, yeah, it's gonna maybe stop a Goblin Giant as well if he tries to go in for it. Oh, no, no, no. Distract, distract! Okay, wait, guys, he's going all in right now. This could be kind of interesting, guys. We're just gonna have to get some delivery spam going, I guess. But at the same time, this guy does have to defend against my Archer Queen, so I don't think he can really afford to do anything too major. Wait, what the heck? Oh my gosh. How did a 1 HP Goblin Giant get that much damage? Guys, a 1 HP Goblin Giant had no business getting that much damage. See, this is why I think that the Goblin Giant evolution is actually pretty good, because that was kind of an insane amount of damage right there. Oh, the Sparky's gonna save him, man. We need an absolutely picture-perfect defense right here, guys. Literally not a single mistake can be made right now. Ability? oh boy, this one's gonna be crazy, guys. We're now playing Elixir Golem Double Witch with the Mega Knight. This deck was crazy good back in 2019, guys, right near when Elixir Golem was released. And also at that time, guys, coincidentally, the Witch actually got a huge buff at the same exact time, which basically made it do, like, I believe double damage, but it just had way less splash. And it was just incredibly broken. There was this guy named Seth back in the day who was in charge of doing balance changes, and he just did a bunch of crazy stuff, which was kind of cool, honestly. It was cool to see him just trying some crazy things and seeing how it would affect the meta. And yeah, he made this deck incredibly broken. Also, Fisherman, I believe, was very new at the time as well, and Fisherman was also really good on release and just fit perfectly in this deck. So yeah, it was really just a pure Elixir Golem meta at this time of 2019 when this deck was just taking over the whole game. That was actually a really good defense right there with the Night Witch. Honestly, Night Witch really isn't that bad to this day. It's still good in stuff like, you know, these random Elixir Golem decks, and that's exactly what we're using it in right now. We're just facing Pekka bridge spam, so we're going to have to be really careful here in this matchup, I feel like, guys. We're going to have to, I don't know, do some pretty good plays. But I'm just going to get my E-Golem down. I would feel bad not playing my E-Golem at least one time in single Elixir. Now, I know he's probably going to go for a Pekka here, guys. At least I would think he would go for a Pekka. But we're going to get our Evo Witch down, so if he goes for a Pekka, our Evo Witch is going to heal a lot, and I think that will still work out well. No way, he messed it up! No way, guys! Wait, that's huge. We literally just spam him. We literally just have to spam him, guys. Let's go for another E-Golem as well. Our Evo Witch is literally just going to heal infinitely right now. Oh, this guy messed up so badly. You know, this deck might finally be able to make a comeback, guys, now that the Evolved Witch is a thing. Because back in the day, there was no Evolved Witch. But now with Evo Witch, man, this deck looks to be back, and we just made our opponent completely rage quit, man. That was actually kind of insane. A deck I almost forgot existed, guys, is this Electrogiant Mirror deck, which was really good in 2022, I believe, because in 2022, guys, the Mirror would actually up the level of your card by 2 levels instead of just the current 1 level. And also another really good thing about it was that when you played the Mirror... No, wait, no, okay, wait, let me try to phrase this differently. Like, let's say you played Skeletons, then you played a Golden Knight, guys. Currently, if you do that, you cannot use your Mirror. Okay, what is that Hog Rider doing? Drunk Hog Rider? What a little cornball. But yeah, guys, anyways, currently, if you play something like Skeletons, then you play a Champion, you can't play your Mirror. You literally can't use it. It sits in your hand, but it says you can't play it. But back in the day, if you would play Skeletons, then you play like your Golden Knight, your Mirror would actually allow you to mirror Skeletons still. So it was really good back in the day to be able to get like the mirrored Electrogiant whenever you'd want it, because you could even play like your Champion and then still go for it after that. And yeah, also you could get like really good mirrored rockets. Also, that was a bad that was a bad Electrogiant. That was a voice crack of all time. I don't think I'm really gonna do too much here, guys. I'll take the losses right here. Now, I could go in for a mirrored Electrogiant, guys. I don't think this is smart, but I'm going to do it. I don't think that's really necessarily smart, guys, but maybe it can work. He's probably going to get to his cannon last second, maybe. I think he will, right? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Yo, the Bomber dodges the Evo Cannon Shrapnel, but he does get the Evo Ice Spirit down. Still, this will be some good damage, guys. Look at the mirrored E-Giant with that extra HP. And you can just imagine, guys, back in the day, if it was 2 levels up, that would be level 17, actually. So that would have got so much more damage there on the tower, because even just having 10% more HP on a card like Electrogiant can completely make a world of difference, because it's really that last bit of HP that's available to you when you get on the tower with the E-Giant, usually. Because usually it takes a lot of damage before it reaches the tower. Wait, we can actually go for that Rocket right here. The mirrored up Rocket, guys, does crazy damage, man. The Rocket plus Mirror Rocket... Like, back in the day, it used to do even more damage. Like, now it still does pretty crazy damage, but back at the time when this deck was popular, it did even more damage than it currently does. And even right now, that's, like, so much damage still. Okay, so I'm expecting him to go in for something. He actually does not really go for much of a Hog push at all right there. That's just a little wee Hog Fireball, which does not get any hits on my tower, actually. Nice. I think we're just going to kind of play this like Rocket Cycle. Wow, he's maybe giving up right now, it looks like, guys. We're just going to go for that Rocket here, and I think Golden Knight might just take the entire tower with that. We made a 2.6 player rage quit. Let's go. By the way, guys, I should also mention that the decks in today's video will only be decks that were at least viable for a short period of time inside of the game, because, you know, there are certain gimmick decks, like, for example, Phoenix Pump Mirror, that were really broken, but those aren't really real decks because they just, like, were in the meta for, you know, 2 weeks or something before completely fading out of existence. So I'm not going to count decks like that. But guys, today what we're playing is Goblin Machine, Goblin Curse, Goblin Demolisher, Goblin Drill. This deck did get some nerfs pretty quickly, guys, but it was one of the most broken decks ever inside of the game, and even despite the nerfs, it still was really good. So I think this deck is worthy of being here, guys, and it was just so incredibly good, man. Goblin Curse on release did, like, I think maybe 35% damage amplification instead of, I believe, the current 15% that it is. I don't know exactly what it is. I think it might be around 15%, give or take a little bit. But it also had a way bigger radius. Instead of being like this, it was like an extra tile or two out on each side. And also the Goblin Machine would just do like twice as much damage to towers as it currently does, and it would just have like way more HP and just so much better stats. The Goblin Demolisher would just connect on the tower way easier, and I think it was also shooting quicker back in the day as well. Its shots would go quicker. So yeah, this deck was so incredibly good, guys, and Goblin Drill was just in a really good spot at that time as well. It was like right on release that this deck was really broken, right on the release of the triple Goblin threat of the Goblin Curse, Goblin Demolisher, and Goblin Machine. Alright, the Evo Witch could be a little bit interesting here, guys, but I think we should be okay. Honestly, I'm not exactly sure what Anaban's final cards are going to be right here. Normally, Anaban is known as the sniper of top ladder, but I feel like he's not really been sniping people much recently. I don't know what happened to him. Wait, he actually could have an Elixir Golem deck, maybe. I'm not sure, though. We're just going to slow roll with our Goblin Machine right here, then, you know, get our Demolisher and stuff like that as well. I think the biggest issue of this matchup will definitely be trying to kill the Spirit Empress. That's going to be pretty hard. For the Witch, we do have our Curse, which is actually going to do a really good job, just getting us a lot of Goblins and, you know, amplifying the damage of our Goblin Machine as well. I think the Machine is actually in a pretty good spot right now, guys. The Machine recently has been quite a strong card. Alright, hopefully our Demolisher can actually kind of take out this Spirit Empress. Oh, it doesn't. Really does not at all. I'm just going to go for my Curse right here. Looks like we're not really going to do much. We could go for our Tesla up high at this point, because I just need this Spirit Empress to get off the board at this point. Alright, let's get another Goblin Machine. Dude, it's kind of crazy how well this deck is working right now, guys. Even in this day and age, because it's been so long since this deck has been popular in the meta. Come on, please kill those Evo Skeletons. Okay. Nice! Nice, we kill his Evo Witch, let's go. That's huge, guys. That's really big for us right now. We do get our Evo Tesla as well. I'm just kind of worried about his Spirit Empress that I feel like he's probably going to play here soon. Okay, looks like he actually lets it go. Okay. You can see, guys, these cards, these Goblin cards are just so good at eliminating any sort of counter push. That was like one of their main strengths, is that, you know, they can just eliminate the counter push so quickly that even if we go aggressive with something, he just does not get any counter push out of it because our Goblin cards kill all the possible counter push that he could have got. You know, I could have zapped right there, but I feel like the Witch would have killed my Drill either way. Guys, Demolisher actually got a few buffs recently, so the Goblin Demolisher is not in too bad of a spot in itself right now. Wait, zap here? Oh, didn't quite reach the tower still. Okay, we know he's probably going to Spirit Empress, so I might go for a Tesla to snipe it. Yeah, he does go for that. I kind of have to Tesla right here, guys. That's really my only hope as of right now to kill that. He's getting pretty good value out of his Curse too, honestly. Wait, guys, this could work out kind of good or kind of bad for us right now. No in-between. This will either be really good or really bad. Okay, I think this is good, maybe? Yeah, we kill his Evo Witch. That's really good. Nice. We can just go in for the Drill now, guys. We almost got a triple Demolisher on the field at one time without even the 3-card cycle of a champion or anything like that. That is actually kind of crazy. Look at all that Goblin damage, man. All we need is one Demolisher to reach the tower, but honestly, I don't think it will, actually. Yeah, looks like none of our stuff connects right there. Hold up, this could be an interesting push to defend. If we defend right here, guys, we should win the game, but yeah, this will be interesting here. Wait a minute, wait a minute. Wait a darn minute, man. This dumb Evo Witch is staying alive for a little bit longer than I would like. Oh, man, these Demolishers are putting in the work right now. I'm just going to call it a good game. We're just going to go in for the Drill here, guys. We get a Curse down, and whatever he plays on the Drill, we just Curse, so we get free extra Goblins out of it. We make Anaban give up. So guys, next up we're playing Hog Executioner, which has to be one of the most underrated broken decks of all time, because in its prime, guys, I believe in 2018 it was just incredibly broken. Maybe even in 2017 a little bit as well, guys. It was just literally unstoppable. It was basically just a brick wall with the Executioner, and the guards and everything. Literally just no deck in the game could break through it. And also back then the tornado lasted for a whole 3 seconds instead of how little it lasts right now. So it was absolutely insane, guys. Literally, decks could just not get through, and you would just constantly hog chip them out throughout the game and just obliterate your opponents. And back then, you know, pretty much every card in this deck was stronger. I feel like Knight was stronger. Probably Guards were a bit stronger. Fireball was definitely stronger. It did more tower damage and stuff. And, you know, even I believe the Hog Rider was stronger too, because I know Hog Rider got a nerf at some point in time. I believe in, like, maybe 2018 or maybe even a bit later than that. It got a slight nerf to its first attack speed, its first hit speed. So, yeah. Alright, this guy does go in for a graveyard. This honestly might be a little bit bad for us right now, guys. We're facing just the typical splash yard deck, but we're kind of in a bad cycle right now. Ice Wizard does reach our tower, but hopefully we could still come back here. Maybe I was a little bit too aggressive with my Hog Rider. Honestly, guys, this deck even isn't that bad to this day. I feel like some of the other decks in this video are just gonna be decks that were really good at one point in time, but maybe not as good currently. But this deck is actually pretty good to this day. People still run this type of deck, except nowadays they usually have like a rocket up in here instead of fireball. And oh, that's such a bad set of guards right there. Kind of forgot he had the Evo cannon. That's really bad for us. We're gonna have a big comeback here. You know, the nice thing for this deck though is that the Evo Executioner should give it quite a big buff, I think, because the Evo Executioner is really gonna bring the DPS that this deck kind of lacks nowadays. Because back in the day, the poison lasted for way longer, so you would have a pretty good time. Just, you know, you'd have the NATO lasting for so long that you'd have a pretty good time against beat down decks and stuff like that. But nowadays, it's a bit harder with this short tornado, so it's really nice to have the Evo Executioner. Wow, that was some really good damage there just from this guy missing a single cannon. We're going to go in for the Hog Rider once again, guys. I feel like we can maybe, little by little, outcycle this guy, hopefully, so yeah, that could be pretty nice. We're going to get a very nice fireball here, but it does not get us a hog hit, unfortunately. I'm kind of expecting a baby dragon graveyard to come in soon, guys, so I will be ready with my executioner for that. Yeah, I knew it, I called it. I called it right before it happened. He's not really going to be able to kill my guards right here since he wasted his stuff. Oh, okay, how does that splash the tower? Guys, I don't understand how that splashes the tower sometimes, man, the baby dragon. It literally just always splashes the tower when it doesn't deserve to. It's so dumb. He's probably going to try to get a graveyard soon. Yeah, he does go for the graveyard, guys, but look at the Evo Executioner value right here. Yo, that was such a nice Evo Executioner, guys. It completely stopped everything. He's going to actually have to defend the left side right here because just that Executioner alone is going to get some pretty decent damage on his tower. I'll just go for this all the way in the back right now and just gotta try to, once again, outcycle his cannon, which is gonna be pretty hard to do. Oh, nice Executioner lining up right here on all the guards and the knight and everything. So we force him to cannon, and then here is exactly where our game plan is gonna work in our favor, guys. Here's exactly where it's gonna start to work in our favor. We're just gonna get a nice fireball down, hitting the Ice Wizard, hitting the guards as well. But Hog still doesn't get a hit? Dude, I can't believe that didn't get a hit, guys. That is actually surprising. This Executioner is doing a great job, though. Oh no, this is bad. Okay, that was a great Executioner, though. Okay, we can work with this. I'm just going to go in for a Hog Rider, guys, then I'll Fireball here on the cannon. And then we just pull away these guards here. And the Ice Wizard, pull that away, pull that away. We do get one hog hit, guys. Okay. We do get a nice hog hit. Let's just go in for that guards right here. And we have to get a nice log as well. Hitting a skeleton right there. Okay, nice, nice, nice. Let's just go in for this here. Oh, come on, please. Come on, no skeletons hit, no skeletons. Okay, guys, all we have to do is Fireball. We take the win, man. That was actually a really close game right there. You know what, guys? I honestly think this might be the most broken deck of all time. We do actually have it with the Princess Tower, and a lot of the time back in the day, I mean, some people would run this deck with Princess Tower, oftentimes with Dagger Duchess, though. This deck was just incredibly broken during the time of Dagger Duchess's release, guys, because basically the meta was in such a spot to where it was like so impossible to break through the Dagger Duchess that people would just prefer to literally just use spells instead of actually trying to break through, because it was just like not possible to break through unless you had maybe like a Lava Hound deck or something like that. But yeah, it was so crazy how good it was, though, this deck. And also just Dagger Duchess in general and stuff like that. So it just Dagger Duchess being so broken made this deck really good, because you had to play a deck that didn't rely on a troop that had to get to the tower. Because you have like Princess to get damage, which obviously doesn't get shot at by the tower, and then you also have the rocket cycle. But guys, I think that this deck might be the most broken deck of all time. I think this might be my pick of the most broken deck of all time. Not in the fact that it was like literally maybe the most overpowered, but just the fact that like you can't defend it. Like it would just like Bridge Princess constantly, which you actually couldn't react to back in the day. Now you can react to Bridge Princess if you're really quick, but even now it's pretty hard. But yeah, also the rocket did more damage back then, so it made rocket cycling just impossible to defend, right? So there was just nothing you could do. All the other broken decks, they were really, really broken, maybe even a bit more broken than this deck, but at least all of them you could like counter. If you made the perfect deck to it, there would pretty much always be a way to counter it. But yeah, with this deck, there was really just no way to counter it pretty much. I think the things that did best against it were stuff like maybe Lava Hound, but even Lava Hound you could actually still beat, so it was basically unstoppable. And yeah, it was definitely not very fun to face. Alright, we do stop that Goblin Curse pretty nicely. I'm going to go for the Knight here as well. Oh, thank goodness that Goblin Giant didn't get too much damage. I thought maybe it would just take my whole tower right there. The Goblin Giants honestly just get way too much damage randomly, guys. You know, guys, Princess actually got a rework not too long ago to where it spawns slightly slower at the bridge, but it has a faster, I believe, first attack speed, I think it was. And it seems to be in pretty good standings right now. It seems like people are still using it quite a bit, despite that change. I think a lot of the bait players were saying that Princess would be dead after that, but it seems like it's just as good as ever, despite that. But yeah, guys, Tesla got quite a few nerfs. I believe Little Prince got a nerf as well, I think. Yeah, Little Prince got quite a few nerfs. Yeah, quite a few nerfs since this deck was really broken. You know, the Dagger Duchess that people often use with this deck got nerfed. Yeah, the Little Prince got nerfed. Princess got a change. Ice Spirit got some nerfs. Evo Skeletons that were in this deck got a nerf. Evo Tesla got a nerf. A lot of changes, but I think this deck honestly isn't even that bad to this day, guys. I think even to this day, this deck is actually viable. It's not like one of the top decks or something, but it definitely is viable. You could definitely finish well with it if you play really good Clash Royale. I think we actually go for the Rocket right here, guys. It's kind of good to Rocket in this type of matchup if you get additional value. You know, you hit the tower and you hit a big tank like, you know, the Pekka or the Goblin Giant. This should be pretty decent for us right here. I think we just are going to get a nice Evo Tesla down right here. And he goes for the Cursed Rage, but that's really not going to do anything. And man, this Little Prince is heated right now, man. Dude, this Little Prince value is kind of insane right now. And the Princess is on the other side as well, which he has to respond to. Oh, I don't have my log. I wouldn't have had my log quick enough there. Princess does get on the tower, guys, and I think it's absolutely insane the fact that, like, 2 Princess shots does basically a rocket worth of damage. I feel like that should not be a thing. Like, how can you get that much damage with just, like, a 3 Elixir Princess getting a couple shots? I don't even understand how that's a thing. I'll actually go in for the Bridge Princess here on this side, just to kind of throw him off a little bit and get him playing on both sides, I guess. And you guys can see the defense is just impeccable of this deck. It's just unstoppable defense, pretty much. The thing about this deck, though, is that you do have to play perfect defense, guys, because if you do mess up your defense even just a little bit, everything could come crashing apart for you, and you might just get completely destroyed. But if you play completely perfect defense, this deck is one of the most formidable decks that you could possibly be playing, I guess. We're going to get our Knight right here, and I feel like our Little Prince is just giving us so much control right now, so I'm really not scared at all right here. Yeah, Fisherman's going to get pulled as well, man. We're looking so good right now. He does go for another Goblin Giant, guys, but we already have another Tesla in cycle. Wait a minute. Hold up. Wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. Wait. Oh, thank goodness for the Evo Tesla, guys. Yeah, we take the win there. That was a little bit close at the end, but this deck's defense does prevail.